So, it's been said before that dealing with failure is huge in the MBA space. In the job market, getting a lot of no's when you're out there doing that. You said you're self-employed right now. When I had you in class, you were at SAIC, and things have happened since then. How do you deal with that? Do you fear failure, or how do you get through that? How do you stay mentally positive? Because you're one of those students in class, you were always mentally positive. That's what impressed me about you.
Yeah, that's a good question. I've read a lot of articles where it says the winner is not the person that fails, it's what they do with the failure. And as a kid, I was never allowed to fail. It would just be go try harder, keep trying, and you'll get there. So as long as you keep telling yourself that, you'll get there.
So almost then what I hear you saying is, even though it's a failure or it's a misstep, it's an opportunity for learning.
In the analytics space, a failure is often just a required tweak. And you make your tweak and you keep going. So you might fail 10 times, but if you see it differently, you got 10 sessions for feedback where you could improve your algorithm.
Wow, I've never thought about it like that. So maybe we should be thinking like a data analytics model that says, or a stat model, we're going to have these iterations, it's okay, because ultimately we're going to get to the end resolution.
Google didn't do it right overnight,
Gentlemen, welcome to Terp Talk. It's great to have the three of you here assembled by our own little fireside chat to talk about some of the trends and challenges that our MBAs are facing. First question I'd like to ask you all, coming right out of the gates, we talk about, this is a time of the season where it starts to get tough for students in terms of finding jobs. Resilience becomes important. Have you felt that? Have you lived that? Thoughts? Bill?
Absolutely. Last year it took me a long time to get my internship, but really having that persistence, being prepared at any time for any given interview is the most important thing that you can be doing.
So was it, you got to watch people around you getting jobs, and what's going through your mind as that's happening?
It's a little bit frustrating, it's a little bit disappointing. You're happy for everybody else, but you really are hoping that your own ship comes in at that point. But I'm telling you, staying persistent and staying on that job hunt is really crucial.
Chris?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Bill's saying about persistence. Last year I was lucky enough to get my internship really early, but I've found that a lot of the jobs that I'm targeting this year aren't really hiring all that early. So while I'm interviewing for some jobs that are hiring early, I'm also working to quote unquote put irons in the fire so that I have other opportunities that are going to come up down the road. They may not pay off right away, and it is, again, nice to see your classmates getting jobs, but it does get a bit worrisome when you don't have a job yet. But you can't worry about that. You have to focus on your own job search, and you just have to stay persistent. It's really all about persistence.
So what do you think, Andres? Persistence, tenacity?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I agree with Bill. Last year, by the winter break, I had only had one interview. So I was getting to that point of being nervous and thinking about am I gonna be able to find an internship or not? So what I did was, okay, as soon as I'm gonna get a next interview, because I know I'm gonna get one, I am going to prepare a lot for it. So that's what happened to me with Amazon. I got one more chance, and I was like, okay, this is it, I'm gonna get it, and I prepared for an entire week. So that's what I recommend to people. Even though you might have a few chances, be sure to be prepared for when that chance comes.
So quick response. Have you or do you know people that have these negative thoughts, thinking things like, wow, I didn't get that interview, I must not, maybe I'm not ready, maybe I just don't deserve that kind of company, maybe I'm not good enough. Do you know people that think like that?
I'll tell you about that. I absolutely have. After getting a rejection, I give myself 24 hours, and that's my rule, is give myself 24 hours to feel bad about it, then get back on the job hunt, and stay positive and keep going, and you'll get there. So you can give yourself that time to grieve, but really you got to keep moving.
Yeah, I think going on that, I think it's important not to take it personally, right? You weren't a good fit for that company or for that position, but that doesn't mean that you're not a really good fit for a really great company and a really great position. And again, I think it's just important to keep moving and not take it personally.
So Chris, you were in sales, right? Haven't you
I
done
was.
sales work? So
Yeah.
you probably had to get used to collecting no's.
Yeah, I collected a lot of no's in my career. That's just kind of the nature of it. And I collected a lot of no's during one particular job search that took me over a year to find a new job. And so I was in countless interviews, got many rejections, after applying, after first round interviews, after second round interviews, and you begin to feel a little bit dejected, but it's all worth it when you do finally land that job you've been looking for. So it's all about persistence. It really is.
And would you say that when this happens, like in that role, you're developing a thick skin, you kind of get used to it? Does it become a game at some point?
I guess you could call it that. Yeah, it does. It's all. People that are in sales say this a lot. It's a numbers game, and I think that that's also true for the job hunt, right? You don't want to have to apply to 50 places because it does take a lot of time. But sometimes that's what's required. It's a lot of effort to get a good job. It really is. There's no other way about it. And I think developing the thick skin as soon as you can is really important, because then you won't really get dejected, because that's what's really going to put you behind, is if you get dejected and you miss out on weeks and weeks worth of networking and job hunting.
Dan, thank you so much for being here with us. Hey, how about a Go Terps?
Go Terps!